Dun 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 dun. Shh. Alright, that was my attempt at the Eden Young Productions intro. Well, now that we both know that I'm a good artist, let's get started with Draw My Life. Well, hi, my name is Eden Ang. I was born in Singapore, and when I was still a baby, I was taken over to Australia. Whilst in Australia, I did nursery. Well, when I was little, I wanted to be a cloud. But when I found out that that wasn't a thing that people became, I wanted to be a rubbish collector because it allowed me to stand on the back of trucks. After that, I wanted to be a fireman because what is cooler is standing at the back of trucks that make loud noises and are in red. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, that was my siren. Awesome, okay, well, I digress. When I came back to Singapore, I went to a school called Nanyang Primary School. Every morning, I was made to say the pledge in 2 different languages. We, the citizens of Singapore, and 我们是新加坡公民. And not to mention the eye exercises called 眼保健操开始. Yes, that's how my eyes look. And did it work? Well, soon, the degrees on my eyes were 350 on my right eye and 500 on my left. And I think I know why. When I was in school, the genius inventors made school lights and then installed the fans under it. So at that time, we had constant strobe lights. So at the age of 8, I felt like I was in Zouk daily. Except without pretty aliens and loud music. So eventually my guess was after all that eye exercise, all we actually had to do was just fix the lights. Lesson number 1, be smart about things. We had Mandarin classes growing up. To me, like many others, it was a nightmare. Why? Well, simply because I've never spoken Chinese in my life and the only phrases that I knew were 你好, 身体健康, and 谢谢你. And I only knew these phrases because it helped me get more red packets during Chinese New Year. So back to why I was horrible at Mandarin. Because every time I'd come home, my mom would say, Eden, and yes, my mother is Japanese. That's not how I draw my mother. So how do you expect a child whose mother speaks no Chinese and whose father comes home late from work to succeed in Chinese and do well? How? Well, he tried forcing me to learn 成语, like 自相矛盾, and 人山人海, people mountain people sea. Needless to say, I didn't score well. I was picked on badly in school by my Chinese teacher. That's exactly how he looks. There was always a time when the parents were made to go see the teachers, and every time my mom went, she would come home and she would cry. It was very heartbreaking because I felt like a failure. The Chinese teachers and some students would even bring up the Second World War and tell me horror stories about what the Japanese soldiers did to the Singaporean people. And they made me feel like it was my mother's or my fault. It was miserable. In my head, I wanted this evil language and culture out of my life. Lesson 2, you must hate Chinese. Joking, I'll get back to this later. One day the teacher made us write an essay called 世界上最爱的人, or the person who I love most in this world. I thought, well, if I wrote about my father, it'd be unfair to my mom. If I wrote about my mom, it'd be unfair to my dad because I love them equally. So I decided to write my baby brother Emil. I was shouted at, called unfilial, and was ridiculed because I was the only idiot stupid enough to write brother, and I was considered an ungrateful son. Everybody else wrote mom. I was really upset, but till this day, I'm not sorry at all. Lesson number 2, dare to be different. I later moved to Taiwan because of my dad's job. The Taipei American School was an interesting place, famous for the expensive fees and incredible education it promised. To get into the school, there was a tough interview with the counselor. Upon walking into his room, he saw me looking at a poster on his wall. Testing me, he said, "Do you know what that means?" "Yes," I replied. 己所不欲，勿施于人. Do not do unto others what you don't want done upon you. Needless to say, he was impressed, and after a smooth interview, I was accepted into the school. Remember how I said that I was really bad at Chinese, but my father used to force me to remember 成语 and phrases? Lesson number 3, never throw away the experiences you go through. Now, what was so special about the American school? Well, it was the love for the students and the interest in each individual student. They taught us to be different and to find the things we loved. Yes, I've pretty much only drawn words and heart shapes thus far. I knew I wanted to play the saxophone more than anything else in this world. However, the school rule was that we had to start with the clarinet, and only the top few players would be selected to play saxophone. So I practiced so freaking hard. Day after day after day. The school teachers allowed me to sit in on other band lessons just because I wanted to succeed so badly. Eventually, the saxophonists were chosen. And guess who was selected? That's right, I got selected. After this, I was hungry to be better. I wanted to be in a rock band in high school. Oh yeah, so I missed out something. And at that time, I moved from Taiwan to New Zealand. And yeah, I wanted to be in a rock band in high school, so I taught myself how to play the guitar, the drums, and the bass guitar. And eventually, along with one of my best friends, Jamie, we came up with a rock band. We were called Double Intent. Lesson number 4. If you want something bad enough, work for it. No matter how small the steps are, keep working towards it. I took this format and started applying it to different things. My next stop was karate. I first started karate in Singapore at the age of 8, continued when I was in Taiwan, and eventually took it really seriously when I was in New Zealand. I trained almost daily. I bled a lot, my skin tore a lot, and I went through a lot of injuries. And under the close guidance and training of my coaches and Sensei Andre, no, he's not wearing a miniskirt, I just cannot draw a karate gi very well. I ended up winning lots of national titles and eventually represented New Zealand at world tournaments. At age 17, I got my 2nd degree black belt. However, at that time I had another love. It was breakdancing, also known as b-boying. I loved breakdancing so much. It was something the cool kids used to do and I wanted in. I wanted to shine on the dance floor and I wanted to be the very best at it. To cut the long story short, eventually I was recruited to join the #1 breakdancing crew in New Zealand, Common Ground. The problem now was that I was in university and I had to choose which I wanted to do with my life. It was a crossroad. Will I continue to win karate titles, end up fighting in cages, or go full force into breaking and make a career out of it? I knew that with karate, people would fear me, but with dance, I could put on shows and bring happiness to people. At age 18, I decided to swap from karate to breakdancing. It was a huge change for me as I had to leave karate, which I loved so much for 10 years. Also, I couldn't afford it as I had too little money at the time. I used to skip meals and eat my friends' leftovers, extra scraps of rice, and unwanted pieces of chicken. Those would do. Hey, shoutouts to Nick, Morgan, and Seth and all you awesome people. But life wasn't about money, it was about perseverance. Lesson number 5. When you want to climb the ladder of success, you need to leave the previous step before taking the next. At that time, I had a goal. I wanted to be a singer and dancer. My parents didn't believe me. My father condemned it, called my music noise, called my dancing monkey tricks, and my parents completely didn't support me. They made fun of me and really disrespected what I did, insulting it and telling me that I would never make it. My own parents told me this and it was very painful, but I knew that I wanted it so badly. My father and I fought very often and it was so serious that I used to run away from home. I used to stay at my karate teacher Shi Yen's place and Sensei Andre's place and my buddy Nick's house. My father then said, when you're 18, get the f*** out of my house. And that's what I did. I left home. I decided to complete my university degree to fulfill my duty and do whatever I wanted to do after that. Since I had no interest in school, my father selected my degree for me. He chose Chinese because China was going to be the superpower of the world. Yep, these are one of those crazy university dresses. I don't know why they make us wear these silly hats. And soon, I forced myself to learn Chinese. I graduated from uni at about age 19 with a degree in Chinese studies. So remember that hatred and despise I had for Chinese? The hate the teachers made us feel, well, it was conquered. From the hate of Chinese, it became a love for it. I started listening to Jay Chou and Wang Lihong, and it got me interested in piano as well. Lesson number 6, never hate something or write it off completely. After many years in New Zealand, I came back to Singapore. All through my life, my father wanted me to graduate early and become an officer in the Singapore Armed Forces, just like him. He saw that as success and his friends all thought that I'd be the next high flyer. Well, I never signed on. I didn't go down the path my dad had chosen at all. One day, I sent my father a picture of myself in uniform to make him proud. His reply was, "Oh, you remind me of myself when I was young, but it's a pity that you don't have a bar." He was heartbroken and disappointed that I wasn't an officer like him. This really tore my heart. So I continued to train in breakdancing at that time and I met a fellow b-boy called Norbin. We shared the same passion towards entertainment. We used to dance in the Esplanade Underground on the concrete. We used to save up money to buy a 1.5 liter of bottle, which was about $2 at the time, which was crazy expensive. I had so little money at the time that I couldn't even afford to buy a guitar to go for auditions with. But Norbin was there for me. Yep, that's supposed to be a guitar. He lent me his guitar, which I then went on countless auditions with. That's not an erhu, by the way, that's a guitar. When I tried to return it, he said, "Hey bro, just keep it lah." I was determined that I would repay him by making the both of us shine. Along my journey, a few close friends like Hoshi, Sean, and Aaron were all there encouraging me. Wait, why does he have two heads? While dance training one day, I injured my back. I had slip disc. I was unable to walk properly for 6 months, and I was told I wasn't able to dance again. At that time, I tried making YouTube videos and barely anyone would watch them. I went for multiple singing auditions too, and people would say that I couldn't sing and I wasn't a good performer. I did a few acting things, but I was just laughed at and made fun of. I decided to take my own path and persevere in the career I wanted. I did physio and I really prayed that I'd get back in shape. I had failed so many times at this point. One day, I even met Dick Lee. I thought, this is my chance. And he said to me, "Hey, there's a toilet flush over there that is broken. Can you fix it?" Lesson number 7, everybody fails. Get up and keep fighting. Around this time, a horrible tragic earthquake hit New Zealand. Remember my friend I started a band with? Well, he passed away. Lesson number 8, life is too short. If you want to do something, do it now. One of the amazing things, however, was that during this time, I met my mentor, Mr. Lo King Shin. He taught me singing and really helped groom my career. My life turned around in 2012. I was signed to Universal Studios Singapore as a Rockefeller. I was signed as a professional breakdancer. It was my career. I told my dad the pay I was offered. He was impressed. Never did he imagine that my useless monkey tricks would turn into a well-paid job. It opened the doors to entertainment. I took up the job. One day, my mentor showed me an audition. It was an audition notice for a musical called Spring Awakening. It was for a really demanding role called Moritz. The theater company was called Pandemonium. With no knowledge in acting, I googled simple monologues from men. Mr. Lo guided me through singing and acting, and we trained daily for hours and hours and hours. His faith in me was unconditional, and all he wanted from me were 3 things. 1, to follow his instructions and train focused. 2, to be the best, the very best. And 3, to pay it forward. To think that somebody would be so selfless and only want me to pay it forward brings tears to my eyes. I got the role in Spring Awakening. After this, I went on to singing as well as acting. I had started my career as an entertainer. One job after the other. I was offered a Channel 8 drama called Jie Mi, and thanks to my Chinese, I got the job. And remember those YouTube videos I made that nobody watched? Well, someone did watch them. One day I got a Facebook message and I was invited down for an audition. This YouTube channel was called Wild Banana. Later on, I was notified that one of my auditions didn't fail. It was the same audition that a guy called Charlie went to. It was my audition for Michael Tong in the TV series Tang Lin. Lesson number 9. This is your life. Do what you want and do what makes you happy. Fast forward to the year 2016. Remember that same YouTube channel that Wild Banana watched? Well, you're watching it now too. It's called The Garden of Eden Ang. It's my channel where I express what comes from the heart and what inspires. I'm now acting, singing, dancing, and enjoying my career. Is it easy? Well, nope, not at all. With minimal sleep, I film and edit a lot, and thank God for the few great and close buddies of mine. We have now expanded and we are Eden Ang Productions. It is a real blessing that we get to do what we love for a living and we get to impact other people's lives. Yep, my relationship with my parents is slowly mending. Norbin and Hoshi are now in my team too, along with a few other great guys. And that brother of mine, well, he grew up. And he's in Eden Ang Productions too. With more free time now, I'm getting back into karate, breakdancing, and catching up with the so many things that I love. And I'm gonna share with all of you guys. Yes, there are difficulties in life. Many obstacles and times when you think you won't make it. You see the word "tung" in Eden Ang Productions logo? Well, it means to soar. Soar above the obstacles, soar to greater heights, and soar with faith. You're probably wondering, what's next? Under the guidance of Mr. Lo, with all my buddies by my side, we're expanding into Southeast Asia, Asia, and beyond. I see our future in Hollywood, going international, and shining in entertainment. And all this is possible because of you, the Edenators. All of you out there who support my team and I. And with your support, I promise that we will make it. Thanks for listening. And lesson number 10, keep rocking and God bless. To see some karate, click right here. To see some music, click right here. To see some dancing, click right here. And do remember to subscribe.